There he is, Creed. How is it going there today?
Hi, buddy. How you doing?
Great, and yourself there?
I'm doing great.
Great. Are you dialing in from Texas?
Yes, sir. I'm at home at the moment.
Right on. Well, I appreciate you taking the time. Let's get the plugs out of the way first. The upcoming album, Whiskey and the Dog. When did you actually finish it?
I finished that album back in May.
Sure. When you have an album done that long, does it feel that old, or are you like used to that kind of a lead time? That's not quite like movies where they're done for 2 years, but hey, that's got to be an eternity where you wrote these songs, then you're just waiting to push them out into the world.
And it feels like an eternity, to be honest with you. I've listened to the album probably 100 times. So,
you had to learn the songs again? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Because you like it.
It seems like it's the old album and not the new album, but
sure. So is the next album sooner than later because this one is already aged in a good way?
No, I just try to put out a lot of content. That's kind of my thing. I try to, about every 3 months, I try to put out something new. And obviously with getting with the label, I've slowed down a little bit to help promote this album the right way. But the next album's called Rebel in the South. I've already got it done.
Wow.
I've got it done. I'm going to finish it here later this year, and that'll be coming out in February-March timeframe.
Wow. Okay. So I guess that answers something I was going to ask, which is, are you the kind of artist who's writing every day or, a couple of times a week? Sounds like it.
To be honest with you, I used to write a lot. When I've been doing this about 10 years. So I probably had about 300 songs I'd written in my younger days. And I still write, just not as much. It kind of comes to me here and there these days. And then when I get ready to do a project, I just kind of sit down and knock it out.
Sure. Well,
I'm still cutting songs that I recorded or that I actually wrote, 10 years ago. So.
Well, that sounds like a band that I want to ask you a bit about, called Van Halen, where there's rumors where there's songs on the 1984 album that were written in like 1975, like 10 years later, they were still going to the well from the original good stuff.
That's kind of a good way to put it. That's kind of what I've done for years. I'm on my 12th album and I'm still cutting songs that I wrote 10 years ago.
Sure. Hey,
that's a good ask.
I think that's very interesting though, because some artists I encounter, they do not have any interest in performing songs from the past because they're like, that was a totally different guy. I don't know who that guy is. And other people go, hey, a good song is a good song. You sound like the latter one. A good song is a good song.
I'm right there with you, man. I'm still playing Whiskey Bit and Hellbound by Hank Jr., I think when we play live, a lot of the songs, I just think I can't see myself playing a show and not playing those songs,
Sure. You take a new song like.
You always want to mix in the new stuff, but you always have the core of your set, the songs you play every show. Like for me, one would be I've Been Drunk and I'm Still Drinking. I can, or Drink, Smoke, Cuss and Fight. Those two songs. I can't imagine playing a live show and not playing those.
Yeah, the hits. And on the musical spectrum, you take a song like Jesus, Haggard and Jones. Obviously, it's clear that your influences come from the country greats. But where does your country music fandom happen versus your classic rock? Did they happen at the same time?
I think it's kind of a fight between the two because I was born in 1974. So my grandmother lived right next to us. And my two uncles are big influences, in my life, Uncle Pooch, Uncle Ronnie, and so I was getting two different things. At home, I was getting Marty Robbins and classic country, Don Williams. And then at grandma's house, I was getting Ted Nugent, and I think that's why I think help blend my sound the way it is because I think also growing up, being a teenager in the 80s during the hair metal days, I think definitely got drawn into rock during that time.
Mm-hmm.
I think I started at country and got drawn into rock as I got older. And I think as I matured and grew up and got into my 20s, I think I came back to outlaw country, traditional country. And I think I just love both equally,
Yeah, the big choruses in modern country music, I find, come from the Mutt Lange school of production. And Mutt Lange, of course, not only found success within some of the 80s hard rock bands, but Shania Twain was his bread and butter for a lot of years. So I don't think I've ever met a country artist, a modern country artist, who didn't love Van Halen, Rat, and Def Leppard. But they're all not like out about it per se.
Yeah, I think just our generation. I mean, even Hank grew up having Van Halen in his videos, and I think both styles of music just they tend to appeal to a certain demographic of people. That's why my Southern rock style of my music is, it's every bit important to me as the outlaw country.
Yeah. In the case of liking, say, Van Halen, did you also follow David Lee Roth's solo career after Van Halen?
I did for a while. I got kind of bored with it after a few albums. And then Sammy Hagar came into the mix with Van Halen, and I love Sammy Hagar. So, yeah, I kept up with David Lee Roth for a while, a couple albums after he left Van Halen, and I was kind of over it.
But you started off with Yankee Rose. You were immediately on board with that?
Right. Yeah, those are the good old days.
Yeah. What were some of the other bands from that era that you really were passionate about? Like, say, Dokken by any chance?
Man, I was very diverse in my music. I liked Dokken. I really liked harder stuff too. I grew up loving Black Sabbath. So that's kind of the cloth I'm cut from, that Black Sabbath, Ted Nugent, the more grungy 70s rock. And then, obviously I was in high school, junior high, when Bon Jovi hit with Slippery When Wet. So, I mean, to be honest with you, man, I listened to a little bit of everything, growing up watching Headbangers Ball, getting introduced to all these different, these different bands that you wouldn't see on mainstream or hear on the radio. Bands like Sabotage.
Yeah.
I just really delved into that, and I always loved Megadeth, and I was a Metallica fan too. I mean, just liked a little bit of everything.
Are the guys in your band the same way, where they're also sort of metal guys that also like country, or are they country guys who can just play anything?
No, I would describe my band as a metal band with a fiddle player and a steel guitarist. That's the way to describe them. They're all metal guys. I think my guitar player from Italy, Emanuele, he could go either way. He's more of a country blues guy, but he rocks as good as anybody. I think the rest of the band, the drummer, the bass player, the other guitar player, they're all from a metal background. They grew up playing with Union Underground. I don't know if you've ever heard.
Yeah. They were on Columbia Records. I remember Union Underground.
Well, my guitar player and my drummer were with Union Underground back in the 90s or late 90s, early 2000s. And
sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a rock tilt to the band, but then I just think we're kind of doing things, our own way, and it works for us.
So similar career journey to, say, Ronnie Keel from the band Keel, where he started off as the hard rock guy and then he went country.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I like the diversity. I don't like doing the same things over and over. I liked, like I said, I mean, I like my rock and roll, and I love country music. So I think life's all about balance.
Yeah. But having great influences like that, Megadeth, who I saw in concert 2 weeks ago, they're still awesome, still playing at the top of the game, per se. When that's one of your influences, you're used to a lot of notes. Did you ever have to scale back your songwriting and go, that's too many chords, that's too many notes?
Not really. My songwriting, a lot of my songwriting, I write from the lyric perspective, and then I put the music to it once I've already gotten it in my head. I kind of hear the music in my head and write the words, and then I go in and let the professionals do what they do, and they always, add things that you don't think of. That's what, when you work with pros, man, it's like, let them do what they're good at, and you do what you're good at. I'm good at coming up with stories and hooks and things that are funny, or things that make you cry or make you laugh. But I think on the rock and roll side, I just leave that up to the guys that know how to rock and roll. I just come up with the words and let them come up with the music.
That's interesting. So it sounds like you start the songs. The reason I mention that is because some artists who are on your level have the kind of approach of going, oh, okay, we got to do an album. Okay, we need 12 songs, 13, 14 for the Japanese B-side. Okay, we need the 14 songs. Let's get in a room. Let's see what comes out. And I'll be back in 2 hours. And meaning, like, the artist adds the coloring, the last part of the equation. In your case, it sounds like the songs start with you because it's heavily rooted in the basic melody and the lyrics and the story.
Yeah, I mean, the songs all start with me. That's kind of like one of the things I'm most proud of, the songwriter aspect of what I do. And I do look forward to, obviously, when you're coming up from the bottom and you don't have a lot of money, you have to do things a certain way. So yeah, I've always written my own songs and just went into the studio, cut them with the band, let them do the thing. But I really do look forward to here in the next few years going in. I'm going to take the band for about a week. There's a studio out in El Paso, and I'm going to go out there and we're going to just see what we can come up with. We've never done that before, so I'm excited to do that.
Is that studio in El Paso by any chance the one that Jim Ward from the band Sparta has?
To be honest with you, I'm not sure, man. I know Cody Jinks records out there, and I actually forget the name of the studio, but it's out there in El Paso, and it's got a place where you can stay. I mean, it's got rooms and beds. You can go out there and you just write songs and try to come up with something cool.
That always intrigued me about a city like El Paso, where how did a band like At the Drive-In come out of El Paso? Where were the influences for that to have happened before the internet? Any idea?
I wouldn't have wanted to be that band, I can tell you that, trying to tour El Paso.
But yeah,
bad enough.
Exactly, I can imagine. So to kind of recap what we've talked about, this new album comes out in about 3 weeks. The next one is already written. You already have the scheduled release date in mind. It sounds like for you, it's music, career, that you make your own destiny happen rather than waiting around for a team to go, so Creed, here's what you got.
Man, I think that's why I am where I am today. If you go back to December of 2018, I'm putting out Life of a Working Man, which was only my third album.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really struggling at that point. And then you fast forward from 2018 to 2021, and now I'm putting out my 12th album. So I've put out 9 albums in 2 years, basically. So that's just what I've done. I've been successful doing that. And I think that the key is, I always say this because I have influences, people I watch that I, see, if you want to be successful, you try to emulate successful people, So the thing about it is I'm putting out a lot of content, but it's not all just the same.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hitting it from a lot of different angles. I'm obviously doing the outlaw traditional country, original singer-songwriter stuff. Then I'm doing Southern rock albums. I'm doing classic tribute albums to my heroes, and so I'm hitting it from different angles. And I don't see any reason to change, the success that we've been having. That's one of the reasons why I was excited to get with Dirt Rock Empire, because they didn't want to change anything about how I've been doing things,
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I mean, it's in today's music world has been turned on its head. It's completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Life moves at such a quick pace these days that 3 months down the line, people are ready for something new, so as of now, that's what we're going to keep doing. Keep giving the people music.
Well, I have one question related to that, and then one easy question, and then you're a free man. And the first question is, a lot of artists like you, I consider you a cottage industry where you grow and you grow. Even if there's not a hit on the radio, you're still going to be touring hard. And that fan base specifically comes to see you. They don't come to hear 2 songs and leave. They come because they love who Creed Fisher is. They get the industry, the niche appeal, the cottage industry. When you have that kind of a fan base, do you also start looking at outside projects where you go, well, it's time to have my own whiskey, it's time to have my own bar? Do you think on that end of the business as well?
Yeah, I think when you start having people who are really passionate about your music, and you see it build and you see it build over time, and it comes to a point where people are flying in from different states to see your shows, and people are driving 8 hours, to see your shows. I think that's kind of where it starts, and it gets to a point where then you're appealing to to a sponsor, to a whiskey sponsor or something like that. We've actually got something in the works. I can't really talk much about it right now until the ink's dry and all that stuff. Right. But a whiskey sponsor thing going on. Hopefully that works out. But yeah, I think when you start having success, people want to hitch their wagon to it.
Yeah. Last night I was at a Korn concert. I said, hey, let's go see Korn and Stained. Free tickets. I'll review the show. And I noticed that the singer of Korn was wearing wristbands. And on one side it says Korn, and the other side it says Monster Energy. So never say never on a good partnership that takes care of you on the road. So
absolutely.
So the last question I have for you, do you have a TV recommendation you could pass along for someone who needs a new show to start?
Man, if you've never seen Kingdom, the show about the MMA fighting family, you should check that out. I know it's been out for a few years, but I got really into that last year. They only made 3 seasons, so you don't get to, it's only 3 seasons, but yeah, that was my jam for a while.
Cool. That's a good pick there. Well, Creed, I thank you so much for your time. Hope to see you live in New York eventually. But in the meantime, glad we're getting new music in less than 6 months beyond this new album. Keep it up, man.
Buddy, thanks for having me, man. And thanks for such a great interview. I appreciate it.
Paltrocast.